This time of year is extremely sad, lonely, and sometimes feels like it is a non eventful holiday for people struggling, either with the loss of someone or suffering through depression themselves. I understand why Rhonda wants to celebrate the birth of our Lord and put up the traditional holiday decor because she is very important and influential in her kids and great grandkids' lives. Doesn't mean there's any less pain. We touched briefly about losing our nephew Shane. He actually was pretty much the same age as me. We're only 2 years apart. We grew up together. He was one of my best friends. I know it's not the same as losing a child, but the hindsight memories hurt nonetheless. I personally, and I'm hoping Rhonda feels the same way, that this year just needs to be over. We've just had too much. We've had too much going on this year, and especially Rhonda. I mean, she's really been going through it, and I'm just excited to get this year behind us. So much hurt, so many tears, so much loss. However, listening to Rhonda and knowing some of the good things that have happened since we lost Adam and Shane is that they did not die in vain. I know in my heart someone somewhere will hear these stories and be helped, saved, make a different decision before finalizing their life and drastically changing the lives of the ones they leave behind that love them. I truly believe Adam is actively saving other people through listening to his mother's hurt and stories. I know it. And I'm so sorry, Adam, that you felt that you were hurting so much that you didn't see another option. But we don't know God's plan, and obviously it was meant to be, and so we're doing this podcast. So please, anyone listening that may not be feeling okay, especially this time of year, get some help. Please do not put a final decision on your shoulders that you can't come back from, and don't do this to your loved ones because the ones that are left behind, it's devastating. So I just hope that anybody listening just understands that they're try one more option before you make a final decision.
I want to start as usual saying that if you have suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideations, to please call or text 988. Don't suffer in silence. Don't think that you've got it all under control. Don't feel weak because you may be considering suicide because you just need help. You just need some answers, some resources, someone to listen to show you that there is another way or a different way. Um I just think back to our son, Adam, and we don't know what was going through his mind. We don't know what he was thinking. We don't know um if he even considered getting help or if he even thought that he needed help. We don't know because he didn't talk to us about it and we just didn't know what was going on. And and he made that permanent decision, or this decision for um a permanent choice that cannot be undone or cannot be changed. No matter how much we grieve or how sad we are, it can't bring him back. And I just beg anyone who might be feeling the same way, thinking that this is your only option or this is the only choice you have, right? That may be the way you feel right this minute. But please know that there are other choices and there are other options and there is help out there, um, for the thoughts that you might be having and dealing with. And I realize that right here again, like we just got through Thanksgiving and in another a little over a week, it's Christmas. And I know that from what I understand that the suicide rate goes up during the holidays and and everything. So I know this is kind of a scary time of year, and I just beg you, please don't make that choice. Please reach out to these folks that are trained and are there for you and want to hear from you and want to do what they can to help you. Um so today, again, I don't have a whole lot. Just, a few things that have come to mind. Just with Christmas right around the corner and everything, truthfully, I'm not really in the spirit as far as decorating and, and things like that and celebrating. I obviously am celebrating Jesus' birth, the true meaning of what Christmas is, and I am thankful that Jesus was born and walked this earth, um, sinless and perfect, and that he willingly took our sins and died on that cross and rose again, is in heaven now. So I am thankful for that. I am celebrating that. I am willing to celebrate that. I just am not in the mood, I guess, to do a big celebration. I think last week I talked about the star on our tree and that I hadn't put my tree up yet, and I actually still haven't. Our tree's out in a shed, and it's, it rained, and I didn't want to walk through the mud, and just, just different reasons. And it might have just been a really simple excuse. I don't know, but I did get a little small tree today, and I got it up, and it's plugged in, and there's beautiful light. So I do have something because we have great grandkids, 3-year old and almost 2-year old. And, I want them to see the Christmas tree and the lights. I want them to, know what kind of celebrations we used to have and everything, and, for them to be part of it. So, I did hang everyone's stockings up. Not that I filled them up because there's a lot of stockings, but that's just another one of the traditions that I try to uphold and, just get all the stockings hung up and stuff like that. So that's about as far as I've gotten with Christmas decorations. I do also want to get my nativity out, because I would like to, if I have a chance with my great grandkids, I would like to walk them through, what it stands for and what it means, and who each person is in the nativity scene and the meaning and everything. So those are some things that, that I've been thinking about. And um again, and I know last week I talked about this, but again this week I've had several days of really strong emotions and sadness. And I just I started the podcast again. I know you've people that have been listening, you've heard this. I started it twofold. One, honestly, to get my story out, to help me share my story and my feelings and emotions, to get them out and to not just keep them all rolling around in my head, but also to try to help someone else who may be dealing with this, who have lost a child, period, or but especially a child or a loved one to suicide. Is just a whole different thing. Again, I talked about it last week about how you realize that your child chose to take their own life. And if you've lost a loved one to suicide, not necessarily just a child, but the pain that comes with knowing that they chose to end their life is very difficult, and it's very sad. And the reason I'm saying all this about the reason I started the podcast is because I feel like, because of all the other things that have happened this year, with Adam taking his life, with Mike's cancer, and everything that we're dealing with, that we're still dealing with, going through all of that. My nephew getting hit by a car and passing away, and then our oldest son having a medical issue. um, uh, Praise God, his isn't life threatening, but it's still going to be a process that he's going to deal with and go through and everything. But it just seems like it's been hit after hit after hit, and I can't unentangle my emotions from all of that to where my emotions are with losing Adam. And I I feel like maybe I'm more emotional, you know, the last few weeks or a month or so, because one, because we got through Thanksgiving and now Christmas is coming, and the loss of Adam with that, but also um dealing with everything that's going on with Mike. I mean, um so I hate dragging that into the podcast. It's supposed to be about losing a child to suicide, but this is where I'm at, and this is what I want to share. And um just anyone who has been a caregiver, um, I my heart reaches out to you. And if you're going through being a caregiver now, I just have a small, taste of what people who have been doing it for years, and people who they're taking care of may be a lot worse off than what Mike is, because he can take care of himself. I mean, he can shower and dress and brush his own teeth, and um, of course he can't eat right now because because of his throat and everything. But he can do everything for himself. But he's tired and he has no energy. So I am still driving him, wherever he's going and things like that. So I'm saying all of this just to say that the emotions of being a caregiver and watching him struggle and suffer and wanting to help him and wanting to figure out how to do for him to try to help him and encourage him. It is tiring. It is exhausting. And so I think that again that the emotions are all entangled and intertwined. I can't tell you uh, how it feels because of the loss of my child around Christmas time, because that's not the only factor that's going on in my life. I hope that makes some kind of sense. I know what I'm trying to say, but it seems like it's it's not coming out right. Um, but anyway, I have had several bad days. One day, uh, earlier this week, I cried all the way to the gym, and and I just started asking why. And like I said, I haven't asked why all this time, but here lately I've been asking why. Like, why, why did he take his life? God, why did this happen? And I know that God doesn't owe me any answers. I know that he doesn't owe me anything. Um and I know that I may never know this side of heaven why everything's going on, why all of this has happened, to our family in 1 year. Why? And I may never know. And I would like to understand, why Adam took his life. I would like to understand what he was thinking, what he was going through, and how he could do it with with that action that he determined he was going to do. And I guess what I'm trying to say is if there is an accident, if someone is in a car accident, or there's an illness or something like that, the person who passes away, doesn't decide when all that's going to happen. They don't decide that they're going to get into a car accident. They don't decide that they're going to have an illness or a sudden heart attack or something like that. They don't decide that. It happens. This, but because he decided, he made that choice. Um, I wish I understood. I wish I understood why. I wish I understood again what was going through his mind. Now, because of all of this, and I know I've spoken several times, so I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but because of all of this, the days that I don't want to function, the days that I don't want to do anything, I can understand how someone could get to that position if they have that feeling, prolonged, like days or weeks or months of that feeling. Um, Again, I thank God that those feelings that I have are only a day or two, maybe at the most, or maybe just a few hours. It's never prolonged. It's never a long-term thing. And I've never been so bad or anything that I didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, there have been days I didn't want to leave the house, but I didn't want to. I've always been able to get up and get dressed and, brush my teeth and, keep up my hygiene and things like that. So it's not like that. And again, just the tip of the iceberg for me to be able to feel that I could see how someone could go much deeper is what I'm trying to say. And again, I'm not trying to put myself on the same level as someone who is struggling mightily with depression or mental illness. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying that at the tip of the iceberg, I can see where someone might say, that to heck with this. This isn't worth it. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Um, but anyway, those are kind of things where what I've been going through and what I've been thinking, and I wish that I could separate the emotions and feelings due to all the other things going on from losing Adam. So I just think it's a total of everything. Again, maybe not. Maybe I would still be feeling this way with it coming up on Christmas. So, um, that's kind of the things I've been thinking and going through. But I do have one positive thing I'd like to say, and that is that Adam's oldest son reached out to me the other day and made the statement that he'd gotten a new Bible, and he was asking me for suggestion on um someone, or something, a website or something that he could use, because that taught like the book of the Bible, and they went like verse by verse, or verse by verse as they went through that book, and didn't go all around or jump around the Bible on a topic, that they went verse by verse in that book. And he actually made the statement to me that he learned more during the Bible studies that Adam taught, as a pastor. He learned more when they went book by book, verse by verse in the book, verse by verse, chapter by chapter in the book of the Bible, and that he learned more doing that than any other time or any other way. So it did my heart so good to know that that Adam, had an impact. Um, because our oldest grandson was a teenager, and that sometimes they're at that age where they don't want to hear it, or whatever's going on in their life, but to know that Adam had an impact on his son with the Bible teaching that he did, just it means a lot to me to know that. And I've had several people at church tell me that the times that Adam preached at church, and or taught or whatever, that it was really good, and they learned a lot, and they enjoyed his sermons and enjoyed his teaching and things like that. So and that means so much to know that that he did reach one of his sons that way. And it just meant a lot. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes, but they were happy tears, and they were good tears, that he reached out and wanted to know how to find someone who could do the same thing for him. Like I said, book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, so that, he could continue to learn, and learn the Bible and learn about God and everything. So, um, again, before Jody closes us out, I just want to say that, if you're having those thoughts, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations, please don't struggle. Please don't suffer. Um, please reach out, call or text 988 and get the help that you need. Please don't make this horrible, horrible choice. Please don't, you know, uh, put another family through what our family's going through and what other families have already gone through. Please don't. Please don't make a permanent decision that you can't change or you can't undo. So I just ask you for that, and then I also ask that if you are listening, well, I know you're listening, because if you're hearing the podcast, you're listening. To please hit the subscribe button. Again, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Again, I know my generation, you hear the word subscribe, it usually means money. You got to pay for something. But in this case, it's not. So on YouTube, if you just hit subscribe, it just, again, puts our podcast higher up in the list, so that maybe someone else can hear it and maybe get some help that they need. But please hit the subscribe button and the like button. We would really appreciate it. And again, I just want to thank everyone who is listening, and are supporting us, and give us an encouragement. So thank you very much. And Jody closes out.
So, guys, please tune in next week for what I'm sure is going to be a very emotional Tuesday right before Christmas. We encourage anyone to please reach out to us if you have anything to share. Anonymous, or you can voice your concerns on the podcast, or if you've lost somebody and you just need to vent, you just need to get it out. Frustrations, hurt, pain, it doesn't matter. Just please reach out. That's what we're here for. That's all we're trying to do. So we encourage you to do that. And we'll have another episode on YouTube next Tuesday. And you can always email us at hindsighthurts@mail.com. You can join us on Spotify, and we're on Instagram and Facebook. So please, please, I encourage you, just reach out if you need to share your story. Thank you so much.